Okay, so I'm going to attempt to go through some of these. Actually, I'm going to go through 7 programs really quickly. I'm going to post the code in the Edpuzzle link, and then you can experiment with some of the different aspects of each one. But I just wanted to lead you through a few of these. The resources are in here under Interactivity on what I've got labeled as Lesson 6. And there's quite a lot of information here. It's useful to look at some of it if you're interested, but I'm just going to lead you through the programs that they've got in this list. Okay? And explain a bit about the code, and then I'll paste it in so that you can get going. So I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible so that it's straightforward. All right, so we're going to start with, oh man, now I need to find the right one. Okay, so the first code is, I've called it Interactivity Part 1, and basically we're setting everything up, and we're going to have a circle follow the mouse. So basically we're just drawing a circle wherever the mouse location is. So the center of the circle is the location of the mouse, and then it's 33 pixels high and 33 wide according to this. So I just want you to experiment with some of this code and changing it up. Okay, so that's part 1. In part 2, we have a similar code, except we're going to take the ellipse and draw 3 of them. Okay, but the location is going to change. The first ellipse is at the x-coordinate of the mouse, and then the second ellipse is at the x-coordinate of the mouse, but plus 20, and the third one is at minus 20. So it's going to be one above and one below, like this. So I've basically just drawn 3 circles, and they'll follow the mouse back and forth. Then in the third part, if I can find it, there it is. Okay, we're still going to have 3 circles, except the x-coordinates are going to be divided by 2 and then multiplied by 2 for each of the 3 circles. So everything is the same, except now when I move it across, here they're lined up, but as I move it, the bottom one moves the fastest, and the middle one moves the slowest, and the top one moves at the rate of the mouse. Because the bottom one is being multiplied by 2, so the location is double. The middle one is being divided by 2, so the location is half, and the top one is just the location of the mouse. So adding a little bit more interactivity to the program. Then in the fourth one, we're going to do something similar. We're setting up some variables, an x variable, a y, an inverted x variable, an inverted y variable, and then we're using this code to make a program that looks like this. So now I've got 2 circles, and when I move this one away, they're kind of like repelling each other. But as I move them closer, they overlap. The colors overlap, which is cool too. And also, if I move up and down, it changes the size of the circle. So we've got this kind of, depending on the location of my mouse, we've got this kind of interactivity happening between the 2 circles. So this was a really cool one that you can start experimenting with and adjusting some of the parameters. Maybe you make it bigger so that it fills more of the screen because it's small at the moment. But a pretty interesting one. You could change to different colors and see what happens when you overlap 2 colors if they blend together. But this is a nice one to show the different position of the mouse and how it can control the shape and size of what's on the screen. Okay, so that's just using mouse X and mouse Y movements. There's a new thing we can add into this too. It's called P mouse. P mouse is the previous mouse position. So very simple code, 6 lines. You're going to draw a line at this location, the x coordinate and the y coordinate of the mouse, and then also at the previous mouse coordinate for x and previous mouse coordinate for y. So if we click play, we'll see what happens. So basically we have a circle that follows our mouse, but as I move my mouse quickly, it creates this sort of linear image. Okay, and I'm not going to tell you how, but there is a way to slow it down so that it makes more of a mark, kind of like a fading line. Okay, but obviously, the faster I move it, the more linear it looks. Okay, so that's an interesting one for the mouse location drawing a line. And I'm interested. Why does it look like a circle on here, but it said to draw a line? Something to think about too. Okay, so although we're drawing a line, we've got a circle happening, and I'm curious as to why. All right, the next two programs that we're going to whiz through here, this one was interesting too. It adds keyboard keys, so you can, this is a bit of new code here. It's basically going to draw whatever text you put on the keyboard at this location, 20 and 75. And we can change the text size here by just adjusting that number. So if I click, there we go. Okay, so I press the D key on my keyboard. I press the H key, I press the Y key, number 6, whatever. It'll put the text on the screen. So that's a way you could add some elements to your drawings, is by adding the text feature. Okay. Very simple code again. It'd be cool to experiment and do some changes to see how it works. And the last one is similar. We're using keyboard keys. This time we're using the keyboard keys as a number. So we're assigning an integer value, x, to return the value of the key. So each key on the keyboard is given a number. And if you type in keyboard values or something like that, it's called ASCII. Each letter, so A has the number 65 assigned to it, C has the number 67, and so on. And all of these characters all have numbers depending on what keyboard you have. So in a regular keyboard, they have all these numbers, and obviously the upper and lowercase versions have corresponding numbers also. So when we run this program, it sets up this window size. It sets the pen to 0, the background to white. The pen's going to be black. And when we press a key, it runs through this program. It draws a line, the position of the particular key that we've pressed. And then I've also set this thing to print the line, print the location basically of X. So what number we're getting will show up down here in the console at the bottom. Okay, so we'll run it. And another thing important about my code is I did whatever key I've got, I had to multiply it by 5 so that it just spreads out the space between them, because it was kind of hard to see each key value if we didn't multiply it by 5. So you could delete that and try something new. But let's have a look here. Okay, so I'm going to press the H key, and it returns 520, and it draws a line here at 520. If I just go across the top row, Q, W, E, R, T, Y, and so on, it fills lines in those locations. There's numbers 1 to 0. It's also filled those in, and it returns the value of the key multiplied by 5. Okay, so just a cool one to experiment with, connecting your keyboard values to lines on a drawing that you've made. Good luck.